Good morning, friends. This is Carlos Conde again. Today, I'm joined here by Nuelle Duterte. Noel, kumusta?
Mabuti naman. I'm okay.
Noel is a niece of the former President Rodrigo Duterte.
He's my dad's brother. Yes.
Your dad, okay. And of course, Noel is a first cousin of Vice President Sara Duterte, who is in the news the past how many days, and we're gonna be talking about that. I decided to invite Noel to for this episode because I spoke with her back in 2021 on Spaces. God bless that website. And this was still Duterte's time, her uncle's time, and we're talking about all sorts of related stuff like the extrajudicial killings, the drug war, the Davao. And for this episode, I reached out to Noel because I was curious about kung ano yung iniisip niya ngayon about these things, with all these things happening with his uncle, with his cousin, with the.
As you know, 2022, we have the elections in the Philippines and a new administration is now in charge. And to say it's disheartening is an understatement. Um, I admit I got very, very sad after May 2022, and it lasted for several months. But, life goes on, so we have to deal with what is. So it's kind of back to from on my end, monitoring and kind of just watching what are they doing? Are they doing what they're supposed to do, not doing what they're supposed to be not doing? And so far, based on my observations, it's as I expected. Um, I expected Marcos Jr. to be how he is. I expected the Vice President, Sarah, to be how she is right now. So I don't want to say I told you so, but
Yeah, you did.
we
Uh,
did.
yeah, you did. Yeah, yeah, and thank you for that. We follow each other on Facebook. We're friends on Facebook, and I have to say though, the post you post on stuff that delineates a very clear moral and ethical line about issues. It's not just a Duterte issue in the Philippines, but also even more recently, the issue in Palestine.
Mhm.
Uh, you have been very, very consistent, very, very strong, opinionated about this thing. This.
Um, I started out of guilt because I
Oh.
felt so very guilty that I did not. I buried my head in the sand for a very long time. I just wanted to avoid it, run away. I don't want to deal with it, and I feel like I'm. It's not my fault, obviously, but I feel like I contributed to it,
Mhm.
just like many people in Davao contributed to this. So I'm trying to what's the word? Atone, I guess.
Mhm.
It's my form of atonement. I avoided anything political basically most of my life because it was around me all the time. And so I would hear it, I would listen to it, and it's like I don't want anything to do with this.
Okay.
Um, and I feel guilty because someone in my family, someone I know, it could be, it's I guess it's stronger because it's someone who carries my name, um, but also someone I'm related to doing things that's hurting people.
Mhm.
You don't want your family member to be committing crimes, right? You don't
Of
want
course.
to you don't want to be related to someone who murdered somebody or who is a perpetual thief or who, like some people don't even want to be related to people doing drugs.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of shame and guilt. Like I felt really bad
Yeah.
that I did not, I guess, do my part early on, and so I feel like I need to make up for it.
Sort of like you were not just in the sidelines, you were actually looking away.
Yeah, I was looking away on purpose. I
Okay.
knew, everybody knew, I knew, but I did not want to look.
Was there a kind of a specific point or incident or something happened that made you decide? I mean, obviously, the election of your uncle in
Mm.
2016 was kind of a moment, right? Or his decision to run. But was there a specific kind of point where you said, "Okay, this is it. I'm gonna cut my ties with these relatives of mine."
So he won, that was May 2016, right?
Hmm.
And then the same year, November, Donald Trump won here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it was really like all the reports of the because I was already following Philippine news since 2014. Um, Noy Noy was still president then. But kind of the news got worse and worse and worse and worse. And then the bodies, and then the
Hmm.
deaths, and then all this wag tularan. It was everywhere. So it was everywhere on social media, Twitter especially. Um, so it was like at like sometime in October, November 2016, and then as when Trump won specifically on November 8th, 2016, that will be a day that I will remember forever. It was like, okay, I need to do something. I need to say something because this is ridiculous. Like the world seems to be going in a direction where a lot of people don't like, a lot of people like me. So I talked to my mom. Then, nagpaalam ako.
Hmm.
Kasi if I knew that if I started to be outspoken on social media, that she would hear about it from, people in Davao, and
Hmm.
she might get some backlash, and I don't know. So I talked to her about it, and she said, "Go ahead, do what you need to do."
But when you talked to your mom about this, and then you got that, was it? Well, no, the way you describe it, parang wala siyang hesitation in, telling you to go
No,
ahead.
wala siyang hesitation. She really didn't like him from the beginning anyway, even like long, 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 long ago. But yeah, she is more, she followed the news like faithfully all
Mm.
throughout my life.
Yeah. Okay.
My parents and grandparents, they were maternal grandparents. They were always reading newspapers, like watching the news on TV. So I grew up around that. So she was still doing that even when she was here with me.
Hmm.
So she knew what was going on, and she scolded the people that we knew who voted for
Bless
him.
her.
She's a very good scolder. And yeah, so she didn't object. She didn't I think the only time she worried was when we were going back to Davao while he was president. That was the only time she worried. But otherwise, she said, "Go ahead."
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about your dad? I mean, people might wonder what was, the relationship between him and your uncle.
Ah, so when I was growing up, it wasn't really a close family. So I can say with absolute honesty, I really don't know him that well personally.
Okay. Yeah.
I was not exposed to him personally too much. Like I think after the age of, was it 8 or 9 or 10, I didn't see him in person at all. So that was a really long time ago. Um, so yeah, they didn't socialize. They didn't see each other at all when I was growing up. My dad and his brother. Um, so yeah, not a very close family at all.
Must have been weird. I mean,
Mm.
sorry, I use that word, to be in the same kind of circle, but actually outside of it. And then you see all of these things going on, and you hear all of these things happening, and yet practically you can't do anything about it because you're outside of it, and yet you're so close to it in some respects.
Mm-hmm.
Nah. I mean, you're the
Yes, it
psychiatrist.
does
Let me
feel
know.
it does feel weird. It does feel weird. Yeah, I grew up hearing stories. I grew up hearing, they make cuento things, what's going on. I hear stuff from other people. I'm usually very quiet, so people talk around me and they don't pay attention that I'm there.
Mhm.
So I heard a lot of things, and yeah, that's why I really didn't want anything to do with anything political, because it was just so, it sounded so ugly even
Yeah.
as a child. It was so ugly to me.
As Filipinos, we are so kind of steeped in a tradition and culture that values blood ties more than sometimes often
Hmm.
more than anything else, right? And
Hmm.
you're communicating, especially to younger people now, that you have to speak out, even if you're going to speak out against family. Don't be afraid to cut ties if they're wrong. You have to take a stand. A lot of people I know were probably didn't do differently in terms of dealing with all of that. They just looked away.
Hmm. Hmm.
But also there are some who didn't,
Hmm.
and at least in my case, I stopped talking to family, to some relatives because of Duterte. I cut ties with friends because of Duterte. I mean, it's not being self-righteous or anything,
Hmm.
but you see wrong and it's wrong and you stand up against it, right?
Hmm.
Your cousin is now in camp, ensconced. I don't know what she's up to.
Squatting,
Yeah.
squatting.
Oh, squatting, yeah. Or he's an informal settler in the House of Representative right now. What do you think of that? I mean, when I heard about that, I mean, obviously, my context ito, no, this all was connected to what's happening in Congress recently, where she's being investigated. But what do you make of that? And of course, your other cousin Pulong is helping her. Parang it's
Mhm.
this in your face kind of attitude.
Mhm. Um, I mean, obviously observed her father all these years, and he's a very in your face sort of guy. He's not one to be quiet about anything. So, and if he wants something, he'll do whatever he needs to do, right or wrong, to get it. So I think she's just following that example. The more, what's it? The more outrageous, the
Hmm.
better.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it gets attention, obviously, from
Or it
people,
deflects attention
or it
from
deflects
something.
attention. Like, it gets her attention in a different way than what
Yeah.
she wants.
Yeah.
So instead of focusing on the investigation, they're focused on her theatrics, basically.
Okay.
And her father, as you probably remember, was full of theatrics for years, decades.
And this is really concerning on so many levels because sabi ko nga, people are not very clear about the end game here of the vice president. Is she
Hmm. Hmm.
trying to kind of massage a situation where people, and then actually some of her supporters are now calling on people to go to Congress and
Hmm.
start a
Hmm.
people power there. Obviously, they still think that they have considerable influence, and that might be. I mean, for all that
That's
might
her
be
key.
true. But now we go to where to the question really, at what point do ordinary Filipinos really draw the line here? Okay, you can support Duterte, and I've seen some people who supported Duterte but are now rethinking that. I wonder if, from your point of view, there will come a point where people say, "Oh, mukhang OA na to, sobra na to. We allowed you to do these things for a long time, but not anymore." Do you
Mhm.
think that will ever happen?
We like movie stars. We're very, very celebrity oriented. So it might not happen anytime soon. I mean,
Oh.
people actually admire Imelda still.
Oh, well, yeah, there you go. There's another thing, but it's the same thing.
It's the
Uh,
same kind of yeah, mindset. They celebrity, politician, popular, may pera, may influence, may
uh,
power. Yeah. Filipinos
let,
love drama.
yeah, that's definitely true. I will ask you now to put on your psychiatrist hat. All of this
Okay.
happening, the father, Sarah,
Mhm.
uh, my initial kind of take was that this behavior is so hubristic. You know,
Mhm.
is it because they're so used to? I mean, obviously, they're so used to getting things their way, to getting away with things, to
Mhm.
be, to be, to act with impunity on all sorts of things. is this something that can be expected of people in power, particularly absolute power, like the one they had?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Okay. And do you
Because
think,
they got away with it already.
yeah, what would compel them to kind of take a step back a little bit and rethink what they're doing?
Nothing. I mean, just look at the father. He has done all of that. He's still around. No consequences, really. Why would he stop? Why would they stop? There's nothing compelling them to stop.
You would think that these politicians like the Dutertes, like your relatives, you think that they will reach a point where meron kang kind of self-reflection about the impact of the things that you do, good or
Mm,
bad, right?
mm,
It's like you self-assess. It's not even just for politics, but even from a deeply personal level in terms of, am I doing good in the world? Am I kind of like that, my self-reflection?
yes.
Is that something that people with these hubristic personalities even, are capable of doing?
No, no.
Oh my
There are
God.
really some people who are not able to look at their own behaviors or look at themselves in any way that's honest. They have to maintain their fantasy because it hurts them. For Rodrigo Duterte to understand or to actually accept the consequences of his actions, it has to be done in a way that he's used to. So he's law and order. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to have to be if people really want him to like listen, this is wrong. What you did was wrong. Um, it'll have to be through arrest, like the whole process. You did
Mm.
wrong, or he gets attacked, or whatever. That's what he understands. The whole I think about the good of the people versus my own interests. Not happening. Don't expect it. When he loses privileges, when he
Okay.
loses um, money, wealth,
Mm.
when he loses influence, that's going to hurt him. That's the only thing that will hurt him when he
But
loses it all.
that explains why during the Congress hearing where his bank accounts, alleged bank accounts, were brought up, he
Mm,
kind of went apoplectic.
yeah. If he loses his money, his whatever he finds important, power, money, authority.
I don't want to be unfair to his children, the vice
Mhm.
president including, because obviously, you know, you're not your father, kind
Mhm.
of thing.
True, very true. Yeah.
Then again, I think this is just her, observing what her father's been doing for decades and knowing that he's been getting away with it. So why can't I?
Exactly. Learn behavior.
I'm pretty sure a lot of our viewers will be enlightened by this. In Congress, in the Senate, or in Congress at least, Mr. Duterte, your uncle,
Mhm.
kind of gave a hint of his acceptance of his impending, mortality. What I don't understand is when most people, I mean, certainly that happens to me as well. When most people feel like they don't have you know, enough time in this world. I mean, this is kind of the stereotype. Enough time in this world, they would then kind of self-reflect and even show some amount of remorse for the bad things they did. But in Congress and in the Senate, we saw nothing of that. With Duterte, I mean, obviously the answer was because he really believed what he was trying to do, and because he's used to getting that. But
Yeah.
will there ever be a point where at least the old man, now that he is like in the twilight of his years, parang yung napapanood natin sa sine na, oh, naghihingalo ka na, I want to say sorry to those I hurt. You
I
think this is
wouldn't
the,
I wouldn't wait for it. Don't hold your breath.
oh my God.
He's very convinced that he did what he had to do, and that was that.
Yeah. The Marcoses and the Dutertes, obviously they were friends. They were
Mm.
united. They ran, I don't, I refuse to believe that that was just a marriage of convenience. I think there was a, I think there was a recognition that they were, kind of doing something similar, both of them,
Mhm.
and that they have this. There's an end game to what they were trying to do. So, from a certain perspective, this is the political elite marrying each other because they benefit each other.
Benefit. Yes.
That actually led me to think, and I'm curious to know what you think of this, is that the Marcoses actually saw a vulnerability in the Dutertes and are
Mhm.
now using it, which led us exactly to where we are right now.
Yes,
That's a chink in the armor of the Duterte, don't you agree?
there is. Yes. Mhm.
And it's, I mean, it still amazes me because I'm so used to seeing them get away with everything when I was in Davao,
Mhm.
and and often I feel like I can't believe you made this stupid mistake of a lot. I mean, because they had everything going back in 2020,
Mhm.
2022. I mean, in terms of their popularity and their mass base, and then they went in.
Mhm.
So parang naisahan sila ni Mr. Marcos in many ways.
Yes. Yes.
This must rankle a lot with the old man.
Oh, yes, he really did not like it. He did not like that. And he made it clear, like the few times that he spoke, he did not like it.
This has been very, very interesting, Noel. But before we go, what do you think Filipinos, whether they're Duterte believers or not, should be getting out of this?
For a lot of people, kasi this is like a spectacle. Like it doesn't, they don't see it as directly affecting them because technically what they worry about is, salary, food, family, transportation, basic things everybody else worries about. And the whole 100 and was it how many millions did she spend in 11 days?
Yeah,
125
yeah.
million. It's like a number. It's like a theory. You can't really, they can't, like a regular person, even myself, I can't really fathom having 125 million and then spending it in 11 days. So it sounds like you're far removed from it. So the ordinary person is far removed from that. And they see this as just a spectacle. I'm hoping that people will put together that whatever they're watching, the spectacle, the drama, what politicians are doing, directly affect their food,
Mm-hmm.
their ability to afford things, to have a life that they want to have. Like those things that they're just laughing at, the politicians or whatever, they think it's just like entertainment. It's not. Whatever they're doing is actually directly affecting your everyday life. And they don't make that connection. Yeah, I hope they can make that connection someday. Like, that's very much related.
So it's all about, the gut issues as far as Filipinos are concerned. I mean, I agree with you. This is all a spectacle. We go through our afternoon watching the Quadcom hearings and we get entertained. We don't
Mm,
anymore watch Netflix. But at the end of that,
what do you
what do you
get?
get?
Nothing. Yeah. And you don't know that they're spending all that money doing those darned hearings. And what is going on with the other parts of government that are supposed to be like taking care of things, social services,
Yeah.
health, your phil health stuff, like things that actually affect the everyday person, the regular person.
And the spectacle is so outrageous that it's hard to connect it to
Yes,
the
and that's
experiences
on
of the
purpose.
ordinary. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
like,
they're doing that on purpose.
yeah, it's almost, yeah, I think you're right. And then so it's like 124 million, and then you disperse it by using fictitious names like Mary Grace Piatos. I mean, people will laugh at it, but then, you know,
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah, yeah, yep,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Of course, we can't wait for all this drama spectacle to end, but there's gonna be more. So, uh, we're gonna be watching this, and I'm sure you are going to be watching this as well. And let's just hope. for the best for this country. And on that note, Noel, thank you so much for sharing some of these insights with me. And be
You.
well and be safe. Okay.
Okay,
Bye.
thank you.